John, we've talked about the book of Song of Songs or Song of Solomon before, briefly, maybe not on this YouTube video necessarily, but just in reference to it being, if the Bible had a Disney princess love story, this is it. You heard me? Song of Solomon you don't hear very often preached from your Sunday morning pulpit, but you do hear it sung quite often when you hear the songs that I am my beloved's and he is mine, his banner over me is love. It comes from this. It comes from the Song of Solomon. And a lot of people wonder exactly what it is. Is it just an opera, a poem, some kind of a real story about real people, maybe the King of Solomon and this woman that he fell in love with? I love it as a portrayal of Christ's love for the church. And that's where I get that Disney princess thing. It's not really a Disney princess, but the bride, the woman, and God, and the Son come down. And let me get to start from the beginning. Because chapter 1, it's a conversation between the bride, the groom, and just the people. So you kind of get the idea that it's sort of a conversation between these different people, so to speak, like an opera or a drama, or very easily real events that took place that were written down. Chapter 1, the Song of Solomon, which is Solomon's. May he kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. And I'm not going to read this entire thing. It's very beautiful, and it's the kind of language that you want to keep with, sharing the bedroom with your spouse kind of language. But it's good. It's a beautiful book. And it talks about, courting the bride. See, there's this woman that's probably young. She's working in the field, so she's, before age of being able to get married yet. And she has brothers that could possibly be stepbrothers, very, very easily. And it talks about how one day she finds this man, shepherd, in the fields, working in the fields with her. And he falls in love with her. And she falls in love with him. And he says, I'm going to go away, but I'm going to come back and get you. Well, he goes away, okay, and of course nobody really believes that he was real. They think she was just making it up. But then he comes back, but not just as a shepherd, as the king, riding on chariots with horses. He rides up to the field where she's working, and she gets up there, and they go off and they get married. And that's the love story of Christ and the church, the bride of Christ and the church. The church, the bride of Christ is the church and Christ, the Messiah. And he came the first time as, fully God, fully man. But he came in the form of man. He came down as a virgin child to us to live in poverty, to live humbly, to live as a servant for us, to minister, to walk this life, and to die on the cross for his children, for us, for who he loves. And then he died on the cross, and he rose again, and then he ascended into heaven. But he said to his followers that he's going to come back. The angel said, the same Jesus who you saw go up is going to come back in the same manner. And we see him coming back in the book of Revelation later on, several chapters that we went through in the book of Psalms, and throughout the Bible, it preaches the same message, that he is coming back. Messiah is coming back. The King of Israel is coming back for his bride. And he's going to take her away in a twinkling of an eye. And you just need to sit through, read these chapters through, talking about the bride and the conversation between the two of them. And you have to kind of just decide, some versions of the Bible tell you who's speaking when. Some of them don't. You have to kind of just figure it out through the language. Talking about the wedding, the promised return, the glorious king and the bride in chapter 7 and 8. We actually used a couple of the verses in here when we talked about, for my wedding, me and my wife got married, keep me as a seal over your heart, love is as strong as death. That's strong as it is. Your human intimacy is really what it's about. Probably is written by Solomon in 971 BC. And I've always loved reading the Song of Solomon, and I suggest that you read it through as a love story, as the Disney princess love story of the Bible, as the bride of Christ working in the fields, and Christ come to wed with her and then, get married and come back for her. And that's actually typical custom of that day, was to, court your bride and then leave and prepare a place for her to live and then come back and get her, which is very much what it's going to look like one of these days when Jesus comes back and takes his church home. As crazy as that sounds, look for the movie, this movie Left Behind, based on the book series that I love so much by Jerry Jenkins and Tim LaHaye. Look for the movie. It's going to be good, and well, I'm assuming it's going to be good because Jerry Jenkins thinks it's good, so I'm going to go with that since he wrote the book. If he thinks the movie is good, then we're in good shape. So I will carry on into the book of Isaiah in the next video. So have a good day, my friend. Thank you. Shalom.